Hello, welcome, you beautiful souls. Welcome to my live stream on Odyssey. I seem to still be having issues on Instagram. They've been censoring me for quite a long time, and I think our days are numbered there. It's been over a month since I was able to go live, so I've just been putting out quick little reels for you guys, letting us know what we're doing on platforms such as Odyssey here, which, really still allows us to go live. They are letting us try out this beta of this live stream. And also, any of the content that we put out, it all gets backed up here automatically. Any of the videos that we do, it's beautiful to know that our work that we put out there gets to stay out there, that it's not somebody dictating what we can and cannot say. So I'm really feeling grateful for this. I definitely can see that it's a positive direction for creators such as myself. Anybody who's had anything of theirs censored or getting those little warnings on anything or having features blocked, and this is that positive place, that positive reinforcement that we need to know that we are really doing the right things at the right time for the right reasons, and that there is this safe place that we can come to still share and connect. And yeah, again, just want to express my gratitude for that. What I have in store for today is a little different. I know we normally tune in with the meditation. Instead, because this is the full wolf moon that we're coming into tomorrow, but you'll see the full moon in illumination tonight. The full moon energies usually last around 3 days. So the day before, the day of, and the day after. And I mean, a lot of people can feel the effects, especially if you're a highly sensitive person, for even a week before, a week after. The moon energies, especially around the full moon, they make you more magnetic. They give you more energy. Perhaps you're staying up later. The truth is, I've had clients come to me before and just say, look, I take sleeping pills. It's not all the time, but usually about like once a month for a week or so. I'm like, okay, well, let's check on the calendar. When's that happening? Oh, the full moon? Guess what, honey? This is completely normal. The full moon keeps many animals, including ourselves, awake later. You know, that's part of the light. That's part of our circadian rhythm. That's universe. That's life. That's Mama Nature giving us a little extra time to do the self-care practices that we need, to finish up work that we need to be doing. This full moon that we're on right now, this is the wolf moon. So this is one to also help you tap into those natural animal instincts. And so I have something special planned to do a little candle magic and show you how it's done. But first, I'm going to play a song here. This is from one of my favorite bands, Mother Mother, and this song is called Get Up. And Finn and I really truly love this song. We dance to it quite often. It's even set as one of my alarms on my phone, so I remember to have a little dance party throughout my day. And I'm just gonna play it for you here, get all of my supplies ready so I can show you how to do this candle magic that I love doing this time of the month. You wanna make it, you wanna fake it, you wanna levitate. You wanna love, want truth, wanna feel brand new. Wanna do, you got dreams, you got dreams, you got dreams, you got dreams. But there's something in between, and you're stuck underneath. I'm still, Raise that, Ruth. It's so funny. I spent over a decade in the hospitality and tourism industry. I even went to college for it, and my friends, they would ask me out, and it wouldn't be like, let's go dance, let's go club, and it would be like, Ashley, come on, let's go race the roof. Because I had really horrible dance moves, and that was one of them. I still do it today, but at least like the kids in my life find it hilarious. All right, you guys. So I'm gonna turn that music back on. I'm just gonna make it a little quieter so I can walk you through what I'm doing here. But I'm gonna keep the music on. It really just it keeps my vibration high. It helps me remember why I'm here, why I show up in this way. And so I'll make it a little quieter, walk you through this process, part of the ritual that I do. And of course, share some tips and tools, things that are optional, things that I sometimes do, things that, I've found helpful in the past. I'll just walk you through it, okay? All right. So first things first, for candle magic, you do need a candle. I like these little witchcraft candles. They burn about an hour, so it's really good for meditation, good for many, many purposes. Plus, there's not a lot of wax, so I can actually hold this in my hand. I can light other candles with it. The wax doesn't drip. I do like the witchcraft candles. You can get like 100 of them for 20 bucks off Amazon. You can go to the witchcraft store, the crystal stores. They'll all have these too. Usually like five for $1, you know, it depends on where you live, I guess. But these are the ones that I like, though any candle's good. You can go to a reuse store and get bags of them for like $2. So yes. So this was my choice. Also, when you're buying, especially these witchcraft candles, they come in all different colors. You can do the chakra colors depending on what it is that you want to work on. I'm choosing white today because it's the full moon. I would choose a black candle if it was the new moon, but for full moon, I do like these white ones. Next thing I do is I've got a knife here, but instead of a knife, you can use an engraving tool, uh, use a bobby pin, use whatever you have accessible to you. What we want to do though is engrave the candle with our intention. So my intention is to tap into my animal instincts. I want to have more fun, be more playful in my life. I want to tap into some more of that just animalistic, wild and free vibe. I've been in the city for 3 years now, and while I don't spend all of my time in the city, I still get out into the wild. I was born and raised in the country. I love bare feet is my favorite shoe. So, I'm still very much that country girl at heart, but I felt like I was being domesticated being in the city, and I really don't like that. So I want to tap more into that wild side of myself. I want to rewild myself, and not in comparison with anybody else, but just in comparison to where I was in the past. I don't want to return to those dimensions. I want to take what I've learned in this time and I want to enhance that with the rewilding experience. So that's what I'm engraving on my candle here. Is my intention is to rewild. Now, the thing about the full moon as well is that it's a time of release. So not only am I going to say my intention is to rewild, I'm actually going to think about or contemplate on, all the things that are holding me back. All that I'm going to release in order to rewild myself. What are the things I got to let go of to make this happen? I'm going to put those on my candle too. So one of those things is my city apartment. God, even saying that, I feel like choked up a little, so I'm gonna take a sip. It's a hard one for me, letting go of the city. It's like I know that I don't belong here. I just had a good friend that's known me my whole life call me up and he's like, "Are you on a farm yet?" Like, I'm like, "No, what farm are you talking about? Did I say I was going to a farm?" He's like, "No, you don't belong in the city." Like, end of story. That was like our conversation. I'm like, "Oh, okay." That was like you know, that was meaningful and it came at the right time. But here's the thing, the reason why I've held on to it is my parents don't approve of my lifestyle. They think being a mom, you got to be stable, have those roots, and what better roots and being here. And I don't agree with that. My brother, he understands and has helped me speak in their language. So I have support from some people, but there's part of me that still wants to please them. There's part of me that still has doubts. Part of me that still has fears around letting go of that piece of stability, even though I don't find that stability is sustainable. And that's my belief, right? My belief is that to be sustainable, that means, having all the seeds. That means, knowing how to plant and having those skills. That means, having a fresh water source and knowing how to tap into that. It means just having that growth mindset, instead of a fixed mindset. And so, I work on these things. It's wonderful. But obviously, I have to let go of some of these fears. I have to let go of the people pleasing. So I'm going to put that on here. I don't need to please anybody. The truth is, I'll be the best parent if I'm happy. And I know I'm a good parent. It's just different from how other people are good parents. You know? My son's happy and healthy. That's how I know, because he's the truth, you know? And I know I was his mom for a reason. So, I need to let go of the doubts. I need to let go of other people's opinions and their harsh words, There are some harsh words that I hold on to. So, I'm gonna let go of other people's opinions. Let go of the doubt, let go of the fears and the anxiety that I don't know what the future holds. But that's okay. I'm going to surrender to it. All right. So I'm feeling pretty good about this candle now. Another thing you guys can do is write it down on a piece of paper. You don't necessarily have to engrave the candle, though I find it so much more powerful when you do, or when I do. Anyway. All right, next step is working with essential oils. Now we're gonna put essential oil all over this candle. There's lots of ways I work with essential oils and herbology products. Pretty much anything that you find in your bathroom or in a pharmacy, I can help you make in a natural way. In my hometown, that's kind of where I started, just making the natural alternatives to everything. It's labeled the queen of natural alternatives. It's come to my house. That's where you find the teas to heal you. That's where you get the natural deodorants that don't have aluminum. That's kind of how I started in this realm. A new one that I'm getting into these days is these essential oil blends, and I put little crystals that I enchant inside of them. Nice little homeopathy thing, but I actually have the real essential oil. Like this one's it is real, but I also infused it with other carrier oils, so it's not so intense. Though I like the smell. I wasn't sure if I would use that, but I think what I want to use here for the full moon today, what am I drawn to? I think I want a rosemary. Rosemary is really stimulating. It's really good for our circulation, right? And a wild wolf would be stimulated this time of year. One of the reasons why this is called the wolf moon is because the wolves are howling louder. Their mating season is in February, so they're getting ready. They're getting social with the partners. So I'm just going to take a little bit of essential oil. You really only need a drop. And I'm going to put it on the wick. I'm going to rub it on all my words, really solidify into that intention there. Oh, and I do like that rosemary. All right. Ray. Now I've got a bowl here. I can do pretty much whatever I want with this bowl. Make some really cool noises too. Can enchant crystals in here. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to use it for burning. Now, if I was writing down what it is that I want to release, on paper, I would be burning it in this bowl. Instead, what I'm going to do is enchant it is that I want to release with good intentions. I'm going to purify it. I'm also going to release that intention to rewild myself, to get back into nature. I'll share with you some of the steps that I've been taking lately and some of the stuff I've got planned out. Uh, but first, we'll finish this ritual. So we got some cedar here, and this cedar, this is a grandmother herb. Cedar is beautiful. You'll find juniper berries this time of year too, really medicinal, great winter foods. I'm going to share that with you in a little bit too as I get into some more of the winter messages. Though, what I want to say is that this cedar will not only heal you and nourish you like a grandmother would, it's also great for bringing in good fortune, right? What is it that grandmothers do? They wish the best for you. And that's what this grandmother herb does. So I'm going to put that in here. I also got some sage, another burning herb that's great for purifying, great for cleansing out the negativity and allowing the positivity, right? When the sage leaves, when that smoke, first it goes everywhere and it's really white and you can visually see it. Then you open up a window and it literally pulls everything out. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to be watching and to be a part of. So now I've got candle lit here with my little Buddha. I'm going to use that to light my enchanted candle here, and that to burn my herbs. Now, again, I said, you know, that if I had a piece of paper that had written down in detail that which I was contemplating on, I would burn that. But the truth is, I already did that in the wood stove that we have downstairs, and we'll likely be doing it again for a couple days. But I do really like doing it at nighttime. So another thing I'll do is normally keep this candle lit for the hour, meditating on it. I'm going to finish this ceremony tonight. So I've got it all there and prepped for me tonight. I just wanted to walk you guys through what it looks like. So you can do this or something similar. I am going to complete this ceremony for today. I'm going to be just meditating, writing, getting all that stuff out, getting to the meat, the heart of it. When nightfall comes, we'll have a fire in the wood stove, likely, even do a cacao ceremony, make some chocolate on top so that as we're eating and consuming, it's something yummy, something nourishing, something that's wild. We do it with cacao paste. It's such a wonderful psychedelic and theogenic ceremony that you can even do with children. So I do love the cacao, especially making cacao from cacao paste, which has the cacao butter and everything in it. That being said, you can do this yourself just with, if you don't have access to cacao paste, can do it with coconut oil and cacao powder, the raw stuff. All right, so music off. Ceremony zone. And I really do truly invite you to do that or something similar, you know, for yourself. It doesn't keep going off. Ooh. Sometimes that happens. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it, but it does distract me, so I do apologize for that. All right, I'm going to blow this one out too. Wonderful. All right, so now that we got the wolf moon stuff out, for anybody who is on our mailing list, you already received your full moon guide. For anybody else who's not on there, if you want this, get into our signal group, You can get the full moon guide there, get on our newsletter list, you'll get it there. Or, of course, if you don't have access to either one of those things at this time, you can email me, ashley@elementalgrowth.org. You can get that guide from me. It was made by our coach, Tristan. And also, what else am I thinking here? Oh, yes. And the newsletter, it already went out. So you guys can get your full moon forecast all around the wolf moon already in your email, and there's also some some freebies that I put in there every full moon. I think this one was for a free course on nutrition, and there's a couple other like our top videos and tons of other resources that you can access for free through that. And I do that every full moon and as well as every new moon. They're both a little different. The freebies are a little bit different, but I mean, if you're on that list, you're getting stuff consistently. So, and we're very consistent with it. So I really do recommend that if you want to get the most out of the elemental growth experience and your time with us, get on that list, get in our signal group, and get going on, reaching those goals and doing this integration work and, encompassing your own elemental growth journey. Good. I got this mug as a gift. I just love it. From our friends at After School. Mark from After School did the drawings, and then John from Conscious Reminders, he makes them up into actual physical items to give you those conscious reminders. And yeah, it's a beautiful gift. I got cacao butter in there too. So preparing, preparing for that chocolate ceremony. All right. So what else is on our list here? We got the full moon, we got the candle magic done. Okay, now is for the winter messages, all right? So I keep getting asked this recently because I did my first book was called Be the Change, and there I broke down all the seasons, all the moon cycles, so you guys can hold yourself accountable using nature to nurture the process of change. This being said, some things are still left to question, and they don't need to be. Like, how do you break down each month or each month of each season? And I didn't add in all those details in there. That's what coaching is for, right? That's the one-on-one support. That way you guys can get this stuff. I'm gonna make it easy for you though, because it keeps coming up, is all right, it's winter. I understand that you're saying that it's like the time for germinating thoughts and emotions and planting those seeds, but how do I actually do that in the season? And here it is, you guys. And this is both psychological as well as tangible physical actions that you want to be doing to reach that sustainable life, especially in today's world with all the fears around, truckers stopping, doing shipments and that the stores may be empty and all these other fears and anxieties that are out there. If you want to, you know, if you want to get beyond any of that anxiety, it means being sustainable in your own life. And so winter is a great time to be doing it. There's a reason why on January 1st, everybody's doing their New Year's resolutions. At least the successful people that really do write down their goals and plan to achieve things within the year. What elemental growth teaches is to break down each of the things that you want to achieve and actually schedule it into a specific season, or going a bit further and scheduling it into each specific month. So then you are staying accountable, and that each activity is aligned with the season. For example, if one of your things is to be, swimming, obviously swimming is going to be easier when you're outside on a lake. It's going to be more beneficial than being in a chlorinated pool in the wintertime. So the swimming, if that is the thing, or rowing or whatever, that would be the summer activity, supboarding, those kinds of things there. In the winter would be more like doing a course, learning how to do what I'm about to show you here, which is ordering seeds and then germinating seeds and then hardening the plants, the seedlings, so that you can put them out in the springtime. And we want to do the same thing in our head, right? So January, for example, this is the time when you hone in on your schedule. This is the time when you hone in on your routines. So whatever it is that you have in there, whatever routine or rituals that you're building on, this is your time to become pro-efficient at them. This is, you writing out, okay, in the morning I do this, in the afternoon I do this, in the evening I do this, making sure that all your spokes, are there, your community, um, your self-care, your finances, your education, everything is there. And having it actually scheduled in. And so January is all about that. It's just that. It's just honing in, becoming pro-efficient. That means actually mastering, being efficient and productive with that schedule. Pro-efficiency, the mastery. This is you mastering that because you're going to carry this on for the winter, for the spring, the summer, the fall. Slight things are going to change, but you want there to be some foundation, some consistency. This is the template for your year. You can swap the specifics out depending on the season, depending on the month, depending on how you choose to do this, but the template is there. The foundation is there. So it's just about mastering that, honing in on it. If you're having a really hard time with this, like someone who came to me yesterday said, what if I'm like failing at everything that's on my schedule and just not getting it done? Well, then you do a time audit. Then you figure out how it is that you're actually spending your time, and you rearrange the words in your calendar so that it's aligning a little bit better. So, for example, if you find yourself spending a lot of time just in conversation instead of action, you find an actionable step that you can do in that time of communicating. For example, exercise. For example, journaling. For example, whatever it is that you want to add in there. The somatic shaking or dancing or sex, whatever, like something physical that is moving, so that you can get out of that rut that you're in where you're just talking instead of action, or planning instead of action. Um, okay, so yeah, that is January, just mastering that. February is about planning your garden. No, this is about actually planning not only your garden, but your life. This is, what foods do you want to have in your garden? So, what thoughts do you want to generate in your mind over this year? What mindsets do you want to develop? So any gardener, and if you want to be sustainable, take these lessons, jot them down too. This is the time when you are purchasing your seeds and actually planning out your square foot gardens, the companion plants, so the companion plants, like what grows with what, so that your garden is sustainable. It's planning out, the square foot gardening, how much can you fit into a small space, especially if you're in an urban garden, or front yard garden or something like that. If you don't have a lot of space, that's really, really important to do. And then sourcing out, what is it that you are eating? What is it that you want to grow? All that kind of stuff in detail, actually purchasing the seeds, doing the actionable steps. If this is not about gardening for you and this is all about mindset, it's still the same kind of thing. You're planning out, what courses are you going to take? What books are you going to read? And actually scheduling them in so that you have a step-by-step process of how you're going to get it all done. It's okay to have a to-do list as long as you schedule in what's on that to-do list. A to-do list is great because it's like a mind dump, but then you actually have to make it actionable. Not everything on there is going to be a priority. Some of it, put on a parking lot for another year. You have a long life ahead of you. You don't have to do it all right now, and chances are you're not going to get it all done right now. So be easy with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Choose a couple things for each season, or one thing for each month that you're going to work on. That's how Gretchen Rubin did it in her happiness project, was one thing each month. The way I teach it is 2 things per season. That way there's always the one for enjoying. You always want that 1 month where you get to enjoy the most of the season. And then there's the month of preparing for the next one. So in February is always, when I do that planning of the garden. And then March is the time, usually the end of February and the beginning of March, that's when I'm enjoying it. Like my seedlings are already is starting to grow and sprout. I've mastered my routine for the most part. There's a bit of flow, and I actually get outside and I enjoy more of what the winter offers. This said, I was working up a sweat the other day, and then I went outside to go to the store, and I opened up my car door. I like stuck to it. Really embarrassing. This is a weird winter, let me tell you. Not a lot of snow, but it still gets really cold. And I dug myself there for a minute. Funny little story. But we're coming into that time where it's really the time to enjoy what that season is. Just raise up your vibration to connect with what's there and available. One thing I'm going to be doing is going to a place called Soul's Path, and searching for some chaga mushrooms there, and getting to know the people. And so I'm looking forward to that as being one of the activities I do to enjoy the winter. And then, oh, my apologies. And then following that is going to be March. And March is when things start heating up. The days are become longer. March is also when the spring equinox is, not until the end of the month, but it is like the preparation time coming into that spring season. So that is when I plan out, where everything's going to be planted. That's when I do an audit on what's there, what's still working, what's still growing from the from the seeds that I germinated. Sometimes they don't all grow. Just like in your mindset, not everything grows. So you have to cut off what's not and you focus in on what is. And you make that tangible. You make that realistic. You run with what's working, right? Run with the wolves. All right. Some other things to focus on in the winter is the food that you're consuming, right? You want to be sure that you're getting in vitamin D. This doesn't mean going and getting a vitamin D supplement. If you are going to do that, you want to spray so that it's easy or for your body to take it in, to regulate it, to move it through your body. You want to make sure that it's easily absorbed, which you can do through a spray. This said, the supplement industry is not regulated really at all. It is a money grab, and a lot of the stuff is crazy expensive, and a lot of it is synthetic. Like, for example, if you go to a store and you're getting anything with citric acid in it, citric acid is not from a lemon anymore. It's not from the orange anymore. It's made from black mold, which is causing black mold toxicity inside of people. So if you have a supplement, for example, that has this, if you have food that has this, you're contributing to a problem inside of your body. So the better solution is to be drying your food. Mushrooms are high in vitamin D. If you dry them out in the sunlight, you're getting 10 times that vitamin D. It just absorbs more of it. Another thing that you can be doing is having your physical activity be outside in the wintertime. That doesn't mean exactly running or anything like that, though. Like, let's not rule that out. If that's something you like to do, which is something Finn and I do enjoy doing, then you continue to do that. Otherwise, at least make sure you're getting outside without sunglasses for at least 10 minutes in the day. Let your eyes absorb that vitamin D. Get it into you, regardless of the sun, which is going to be really helpful. It helps with so many things. It's not just about vitamin D, it's also about circadian rhythm, it's about hormone health, it's about so much. But other than that, the mushrooms is still a great place to be because they have natural vitamin D. Another way to get some of these healthy benefits are through fermented foods. So in wintertime, it can be easy or hard to access fresh fruits and vegetables for a good price, because not a lot's growing, especially here in Canada. So what we like doing is getting frozen foods because it's frozen at its peak of nutrition. And you can usually get them at a pretty inexpensive price. Plus, it'll last, at least get you through the winter season. You don't want to stock up on frozen foods and eat it for years and years at a time because that's not going to be sustainable. But if you get enough to just go through the winter season, that is sustainable until you can start getting those sprouts in the springtime. Another thing is the drying, like I had mentioned before. You can get a dehydrator. You can create a dehydrator and put it out in the sun and just do it on a screen and wood, and do large scale. Now, another thing is fermenting. Okay, that's the other way to get a lot of really healthy nutrients into your body. So this is like the last stop of your food. If your food is like expiring, about to go bad, and I'm talking about produce. Okay, you guys, this is the time of year that you take that. In fall too, you can do this to prepare. But essentially, you'd be taking something like ginger and you mix it with water and sugar, equal parts for a few days, have some cheesecloth over it, let wild yeast and wild bacteria get in there, and this ends up becoming a ginger bug, a species all of its own that helps you and your immune system. Plus, the kids love it, and this is just one example. Another thing fermented foods do is they give you vitamin B12, another one missing from our diets today because our soils are so depleted. Even people who eat animal products, they're missing and lacking in vitamin B12 because the soils just aren't what they used to be. That means that the cow that you're eating had grass that was depleted, and it's not getting all of those bugs. You want to eat stuff that's been touched by bugs and by worms. We're living in a sanitary world now, and it's harming us. And it's harming our immune system, it's harming our gut. It's making us weaker instead of stronger. And these fermented foods help us be strong. We're all bacteria. That's what we're made out of, is bacteria. You don't want to be killing that off. You want to strengthen it. You want the good bacteria to thrive and be alive, okay? And that's how you're going to be alive and thrive in life. So these fermented foods. Other ways to do fermented foods are with like a salt brine. So if you're going to make something like kimchi, this would be with cabbage and ginger and some other vegetables, carrots and all that. And then you'd make a salt brine, which is just salt and water in equal proportions. You can make sauerkraut this way as well. You can make uh, do pickled carrots and pickled pickles. Many things that you can do here. So get into the fermentation, you guys. Go check it out. There's tons of drinks too. Like we do kombucha quite often, especially in this time of year. Um, Kids again though, they come back to that ginger bug. They love the ginger bug. Finn, he does like the kombucha too, but he calls it burping potion, which I don't blame him for because it does get that fizzy in it and it can make you burp and things too. But yeah, really fun stuff. And yeah, and it's cool. The kombucha too, it grows this thing on top of it. It's called a SCOBY, a symbiotic culture of bacteria, SCOBY. And it's this layer on top of the tea, because kombucha is a fermented tea. And so this layer of like a thick gel slime is called a SCOBY. And it's really cool because you actually get to see the bacteria and how they grow, a symbiotic culture. It's beautiful. And isn't that what we want? We want that connection. This is why we're working with mushrooms. And I really hope that this inspires you to get into the fermented foods as well. Now, some other things is you can still forage for some greens in this time of year. Some are really, really hardy, like mustard greens. They'll grow all year. Some types of kale in the brassica family, some of them will grow all year. Some mushrooms are the best to forage this time of year, like chaga mushroom. And we'll have chaga just boiling on the stove day after day after day, and we'll drink cup after cup after cup of this stuff. It's just wonderful. Another thing we do is mushroom blends. We turn mushrooms into powders and we're able to add them to things like coffees and teas and smoothies and all these things to be able to get them into our body and strengthen us and strengthen our immune system. Uh, really, again, something that we do highly recommend here. And as I mentioned before, when I was burning grandmother cedar, is that there's juniper berries that are starting to come this time of year. That is a winter berry, so we can make tinctures out of that. We can make um, skin. If you want to infuse witch hazel into the, or infuse yeah, infuse witch hazel with the juniper berries. That's a really nice natural toner that you can put on. Another thing is like you can find oranges so inexpensive. Even here, we're in Canada where orange trees do not grow. We still get them for a really good price at this time of year, and there's so much stuff that you can do with these oranges. Um, you can make face cleansers out of the orange peels just by dehydrating them. You can make sugared orange peel snacks for the kids. You can dehydrate the actual oranges themselves, and it's like a candy. You can coat the oranges in homemade chocolate and dehydrate them, and then you've got a chocolate covered orange. You can take the orange peels and again make it into a powder and just use that as a vitamin C booster. We do this with the rose hips as well. Again, really, really high in vitamin C, which can help you in the wintertime to just thrive and build up that immune system. And you can still find the rose hips and the seeds of the rose naturally out in the wintertime. So you guys can harvest that, forage for that. And of course, it's going to be even more potent because it's been sitting there absorbing the sunlight as well. Okay. Another thing that I want to get in here around the wintertime messages is travel. It becomes a little harder this time of year, right? You have to have the winter tires on. You have to plan out your trips with the weather, being conscious of the weather more, if you're a parent, you got to be thinking about your child if there is an accident or anything like that. Are you going to be able to survive in your car? Do you have like extra blankets and things like that's going to be safe? This being said, I still encourage you guys to do it. Find some really cool adventures. Find where the most beautiful places you can go in the winter in your area and play tourist. Okay, maybe there's a lighthouse that is beautiful. Maybe it's skating on the bay. Maybe it is going for a snowmobile ride, up on a peninsula or across the water somewhere. We're really fortunate where I grew up, where the native reserve is. It's called Christian Island, and they actually make from the reserve on the mainland where I grew up over to Christian Island. It's like a highway, and it's a really cool adventure to do, just driving across the ice to get to where you're going. There's some really cool things. There's another spot around here where the waterfalls actually like freeze and make these ice caves called Bridal Falls up in the Bruce Peninsula. A lot of water around where I grew up. And Yeah, some people even go rock climbing still this time of year, but they climb the where the waterfalls are, like in Hamilton and Dundas area. That's waterfall capital of the world, and again, pretty close to me. And I have lived there before, and I would watch these guys rock climb through the ice. It's incredible some of the things that you can be doing this time of year. And I encourage you guys, get out there, find something fun to do, make the most out of this time, make some memories. Maybe it's tobogganing, whatever it is that brings laughter, do that. Let the be the light in the darkness. There is less light this time of year. The days are still working to get longer, but we're at least past it. We're past the darkest part of it, and now everything's going to be lighter and lighter and lighter. It's going to get warmer. It's going to get warmer and warmer, so embrace that. Be part of that light. Focus on the positive. So many times, especially in Canada, it's that seasonal depression disorder, and people are going for the big pharma, and I want to encourage you instead to find light within yourself, to instead find a mushroom that can help you, find something that happens in sunlight that's going to help you, instead of opting for something with some crazy side effects, that may end up hindering you and may not even help you get better, at least not for the long term. It's just not sustainable like some of these other alternatives are. And these alternatives, they do take work. But guess what? Work gives you purpose, and purpose is going to break that pattern of depression as well. Right. Some other things is the sun and sleep. I do still encourage you guys, of course, if you've read my book, Be the Change, it goes into the circadian rhythm. It goes into sleep cycles for each one of the seasons. It goes into the fitness for each of the seasons. It goes into how to manage your time better. So, I encourage you guys to get that book, or if you have specific questions and you want me to answer them for you instead of in a generalized way, get on a clarity call with me. You can access that at elementalgrowth.org. It's just a 10-minute call. I won't charge you for it. But then I can at least get you the personalized answers that you want instead of these generalized ones. And yeah, it's always available to you. I do want to touch on that a little bit more. I'm saying go out there and get 10 minutes of sunlight. This is also because it's going to help your circadian rhythm. This is going to help your hormones. This is going to help your seasonal depressive disorder. This is going to help you be the best you can be, knowing that your best changes depending on the season, depending on how you feel, depending on what's happening in your environment, what environment you're choosing to be in and stay in. Your best does change, but always be doing your best. And one way you can always ensure that you're doing the best is by ensuring that you're eating good whole foods, ensuring that you're doing something that makes you laugh, ensuring that you're getting some sunlight, and ensuring that you're getting to bed at a decent hour. Okay. So there's this thing called the second wind at 10 o'clock, and this is a across the board thing. This is scientifically proven that if you're not sleeping, or at least in the horizontal position by 10 p.m., at least be horizontal. Okay. You don't have to close your eyes and go to sleep, but do please turn off the tech. Do please do that. Turn off the lights, get in the horizontal position. If you want to meditate in this time, if you want to light a candle in this time, if you want to, make music in this time, do that, but do not, even music might be too stimulating, but you could draw, you could something, but be in the horizontal position, at least try to get some sleep. I hate hearing when people are like, oh, I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning scrolling. Knock that stuff out, especially in the winter time. The winter time is a time for sleep. I'm saying 10 o'clock is when you get your second wind. You don't want to reach that 10 o'clock. So even aim for before that. And this is winter time. You can easily do that. It's harder in the summer. In the summer, people are partying until like 3 o'clock in the morning, because the sun doesn't even go down until 10 p.m. But in the winter, it is a time of rest. It's a time of hibernation for many animals, except for around the full moon. In the full moon, the beavers are up later working on their beaver dens and things like that. But other than that, that's just a one-time excuse for maybe like 1 to 3 days. The rest of the time, I want you in bed before then. I want you to use the winter to get the sleep that you deserve. This sleep is to help you rest and digest. This is something that you need to be doing. This is how you align with the seasons to nourish the process of change, to nurture yourself as you're changing. So I encourage you guys do that, and let me know in the signal group too. What time are you going to bed right now? What can you do to improve your sleep? Are you having sleep issues? Do you think seasonal depression disorder has something to do with this, or vitamin D, or going outside? What resonated with you around this? And then of course, alongside whatever problem and challenge you're facing, I want you to give me 3 solutions. What are 3 solutions that you found for yourself or from this call today that you can implement to get better sleep, to make the most out of this winter season? For now, I'm going to let you all go. I love you all so much. Wishing you a wonderful full wolf moon. And, if you need anything between now and next Sunday, you know how to reach me. Ashley at elementalgrowth.org. I love you all so much. Bye for now.